Hello. Today, I'm going to tell you a very important story about the fall of Rome. Are you ready? When we think of Rome, what comes to mind? Barbarians storming the walls, legions collapsing, emperors lost in palace intrigues. Yes, these are dramatic images, but an empire doesn't fall just because of outside attacks. The real danger comes from within. And the most powerful weapon of all is money. Yes, Rome didn't fall just because of invasions. It fell because its economy collapsed. And believe me, this still teaches us a crucial lesson today. Do you know what the backbone of Rome's economy was? The silver denarius. First minted in 211 BC, it was almost pure silver. People trusted it. Soldiers were paid with it, merchants accepted it, and ordinary people stored their wealth in it. The denarius wasn't just money, it was the physical form of trust. As long as people believed in Rome, they believed in its money. But running an empire is expensive. Armies must be paid, roads and bridges built, borders defended. By the 2nd century AD, Rome was at war on multiple fronts. Tax revenue was not enough to cover the growing expenses, so what was the solution? Devaluing the currency. Instead of taxing citizens more, they reduced the silver content in the denarius. What was once nearly pure silver became just a thin silver coating over a base metal. The people noticed. Prices skyrocketed. Grain that used to cost 1 denarius now cost dozens. Imagine this. Housewives going to the market, prices changing daily. Bakers struggling to sell bread because flour costs kept rising. Merchants forced to trade goods instead of accepting coins. People no longer wanted to use money they couldn't trust. Distrust grew every day, slowly seeping into people's lives. Soldiers saw their pay losing value. A soldier who once lived comfortably could no longer meet basic needs. Motivation fell, loyalty was questioned. Some legions lost their allegiance, rebellions broke out. A crumbling army directly threatened the security of the empire. Peasants were also in trouble. Unable to pay taxes, they abandoned their land. Some had to sell their fields just to survive. Trade in the cities halted, urban life shrank. The population slowly adapted to despair, but each day life became harder. The peak of the crisis is known as the crisis of the 3rd century. Between 235 and 284 AD, Rome suffered invasions, plagues, civil wars, and economic collapse. Emperors ruled briefly, sometimes for just a few months. The people saw prices soar and the currency lose its value. Merchants and farmers returned to bartering. City economies collapsed. Diocletian tried to fix the situation. In 301 AD, he issued the edict on maximum prices, but money was already worthless. Fixing prices by law didn't work. The black market exploded and official trade collapsed. People learned that when money is broken, no law can make it whole. Another detail. Emperors changed constantly. Sometimes they ruled only a few months before being killed. This political chaos combined with economic turmoil made daily life unbearable. People lost faith in their leaders, and trust completely eroded. As the army faltered and people grew desperate, cities slowly fell apart. Trade networks broke, goods couldn't reach the market, food shortages appeared. Romans felt the chaos creeping into every corner of their daily lives. Eventually, the denarius disappeared. Constantine introduced the solidus, a gold coin which brought some stability. But by then, the Western Roman Empire was already in decline. The devaluation of the denarius made armies unsustainable, shattered trade networks, and destroyed public trust. Rome teaches us this. Inflation is not just numbers. It changes people's lives. When money loses value, society gradually collapses. Now let's look at modern times. Germany in 1923 experienced hyperinflation. People had to pay billions of marks for a single loaf of bread. Zimbabwe in the 2000s saw its currency become completely worthless. Even today, inflation, debt, and money printing policies pose similar risks in some countries. These stories show us. When money loses its value, society slowly crumbles. Trust is the most valuable asset, and if the monetary system fails, the empire falls. So, what can we learn from this? First, inflation is not an accident, it is policy. Throughout history, people have witnessed their money losing value gradually. Imagine the life of an ordinary Roman, unable to get paid, unable to cover basic needs, money they can't trust. Second, real wealth is not in paper or numbers on a screen. It's in assets that maintain value: land, skills, productive work, and resources. Third, never assume stability will last forever. Romans would never have imagined their coins would one day be worthless, but it happened. And remember, the barbarians at the gate may finish the job, but the real collapse starts in the treasury. Contracts fail, trade stops, armies dissolve, governments lose legitimacy. When trust is gone, society gradually falls apart.